Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2022 Puyallup High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is Dave Sunch, and I have the privilege of serving as the principal at this great institution. As you all know, PHS has a long history of excellence in athletics. Thousands upon thousands of students have donned the purple and gold and represented PHS in the pools and on the courts, fields, mats, and tracks. Many have gone on to play in college, professionally, and even represent our country in the Olympics. Alongside each of these athletes, of course, have been talented and passionate coaches and mentors, loyal fans, knowledgeable staff, and tremendous supporters of the Puyallup athletic community. As time passes, the legends of past athletic feats grow. Old records are broken and new benchmarks are set. As athletics have always been such a big part of our Puyallup community and a source of great pride for PHS, it is only fitting to have an athletic Hall of Fame. A meaningful way to honor some of our most distinguished athletes, coaches, and contributors and ensure their legacies, their stories and legends remain a part of PHS history for years to come. The concept of a PHS Athletic Hall of Fame was first proposed by Jim Meyerhoff while he served as the athletic director here at PHS. As his term as athletic director was ending, he made a commitment to ensure his idea didn't fade. He is putting countless hours over the past several years, rallying support, convening a Hall of Fame committee, defining a vision, and working out the details for the Puyallup High School Athletic Hall of Fame. The first class of Hall of Famers were inducted in the fall of 2019. After a 3-year forced hiatus due to world events, we're finally back today to pay tribute to some of the Viking greats as we celebrate our second class of PHS Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. Now, before we begin, I'd like to introduce the Hall of Fame committee members who've been responsible for getting this thing off the ground and ultimately selecting the athletes who are being celebrated today. Start with Jim Meyerhoff Sr. You can give a wave there, Jim. He's a PHS alumni athlete, longtime athletic contributor around the region and nationally. George Wilfong, the GOAT, you know him, 2019 Hall of Fame inductee and PHS wrestling coach. Jim Meyerhoff, Jim. He's a PHS alumni, former PHS athletic director and current PSD athletic director, and the one who had the vision for this and lit the fire to get it going. Tony Batinovich, longtime social studies teacher and an award-winning PHS softball and volleyball coach. Jerry Ledbetter is not here today. He's an alumni, and he's highly involved with the Alumni Association and historical enthusiasts. He really helps us find how to connect with a lot of our former athletes, and so many great memories and stories he has to share. Casey Massinio is our current swim and dive coach. She's a parent of 2 recent accomplished PHS athletes and alumni. And Kelly Susie, he's our current athletic director, legendary PHS quarterback from the mid-'80s, and a teacher here at PHS, or athletic director. So thanks to the committee for helping us get this going. So this committee has met numerous times over the past 5 years, establishing what we expect will continue to be a long-standing PHS tradition. So now a little bit about the logistics before Mr. Meyerhoff will come up and get us started here. Each inductee will be introduced with a short bio shared by one of our committee members, and then the inductee or the representative of their family will have 5 or 6 minutes to share some comments, a story, or a memory. To make sure we have enough time, we're going to just ask that everybody kind of honor that 5 or 6 minute time. And then we'll wrap up with a group shot at the end and all of our, a picture with all the inductees and their family representatives, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. So enough with that. Let's welcome Jim Meyerhoff.
Principal Sunch is also part of the committee. He's been introduce himself, but he is also part of our committee. This next part, I just want to introduce a couple people who are class of 2019 inductees. And unless somebody snuck in without me seeing them, I want to introduce two people. And the first one is Clayton Sparks, the son of Carl Sparks. Clayton, would you please stand? Thank you. Clayton has been instrumental in a lot of the historical knowledge that we have here. He has binders and bins and everything full of years of Puyallup history from his father's time, and Clayton has been a huge supporter for us, and he still enjoys his favorite seat at the football game last Thursday. He'll be there again next time we play. The other person to introduce has already been introduced, but I'll make sure we do this during this time, and that is George Wilfong, who was a member of the class of 2019. Please stand, George. A little bit of confusion with our first two inductees. Unless somebody has shown up for Harshman's, we're going to have, I'm just going to go pretty quick for the first group. The second one, we just found out that he wasn't quite aware he was speaking for Mr. Nicholson. So we're going to do our best to honor Dean Nicholson and Sterling Harshman during our presentation, and then we will continue on. So we're going to do our coaches, and then we'll have the teams, the water polo teams, and then we'll finish up with the athlete category. Who is up for Tony? I believe you're up first. Tony Tinovich talking about Sterling Harshman.
I was given the honor to talk about Sterling Harshman. Mr. Harshman passed away in 1997, and longtime coach and teacher here at Puyallup High School. He was born in Hudson, Wisconsin, but attended Lake Stevens High School, where he was an honorable student and earned 6 letters, 3 in football, 3 in basketball. He attended Pacific Lutheran University and was a 4-year honorable student while he attended there. He lettered 4 years in track, 4 years in football, and 1 year in basketball at PLU. Best known for his track accomplishments, he set several WinCo League and PLU records. In 1943, as a senior, Mr. Harshman served not only as track captain, but also as the PLU coach. Don't see that too often anymore. Mr. Harshman served 35 years and 7 months, active for 10 of those years in the United States Marines, Navy and Naval Reserve. He retired in 1975 with the rank of captain. He served in World War II, the Korean War, and Vietnam. During his military career, he was awarded 11 battle stars, 2 letters of commendation, and he was recommended for the Bronze Star. His Puyallup High School career includes teaching 28 years as a biology teacher, and often served as the head of the biology or science department. During his 26 years as track coach, he won over 70% of the meets, including 2 league championships. Ster was also the head cross-country coach for 12 years and served as an assistant football coach for 15. He also served as an official for AAA and AA track championships for 11 years. The Ster Harshman Memorial Track Cross-Country Scholarship is presented annually to a PHS track or cross-country student who has shown good character and contributed to our community. His recognition for all the things that he's done and his commitment to students through coaching and teaching has got him inducted into the Lake Stevens High School Hall of Fame in 2011, the PLU Salzman Award in 1971. He was inducted into the PLU Hall of Fame in 1992, and in the Pierce County Hall of Fame in 2005. He is survived by 3 adult children, Kathy, Salaska, Steve Harshman, and Lisa Harshman. I believe we thought Kathy was going to be here to speak for a few minutes about her dad, but she is not here. So that is Mr. Harshman's bio, and we would like to be congratulated and are proud to enter him into the class of 2022 at the Puyallup High School Athletic Hall of Fame.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce to you a class member and inductee into the class of 2022. That's Coach Dean Nicholson. Dean was at Puyallup High School from 1950 to 1964. Nicholson was a standout athlete at Ellensburg High School, where he played football, basketball, tennis, and baseball. Nicholson served in the Navy from 1944 to 1946 and was awarded the American Area Campaign Medal and the World War II Victory Medal. Dean then attended college at Central Washington University and was again a multi-sport athlete, playing basketball, tennis, and baseball. He also was the student body president his senior year. After graduation in 1950, he took a teaching and coaching position at Puyallup High School. At PHS, he taught physical education, coached basketball, tennis, and baseball. As the basketball coach at PHS, he won 5 Puget Sound League titles. As the basketball coach, 4 of his basketball players have been inducted into the Washington Coaches Hall of Fame. Those would be Rich Hammermaster, Jim Clifton, Bob Anderson, and Wayne Gillespie. In 1964, Nicholson replaced his father as the head basketball coach at Central Washington University. Nicholson guided the Wildcats of Central to a 609-202 record in his 26 years, which included 22 NAIA District 1 titles, 6 NAIA Final Four appearances, and a runner-up finish in 1970 National Championships to Kentucky State. Dean then spent 1 season with the Yakima semi-professional Sun Kings, and then he concluded his career with 3 years at the helm of Yakima Valley College, where he was the basketball coach, and they won 2 Northwest Community College regional titles. Dean Nicholson has been honored numerous times, including the 1970 NAIA Basketball Coach of the Year. In 1990, he was inducted into the Washington State Interscholastic Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame. In 2017, he was inducted into the Central Washington University Hall of Fame as a player and a coach, with his jersey being retired in 2017. He was inducted in 2010 into the Washington State Sports Hall of Fame. And probably a recognition that is, are going to be hard to beat. You take his college coaching career, 606 wins, whatever it was, combined with his father's record, Leo, his father, they won 1,114 games at Central Washington University. The most ever by a father-son combo in college basketball history. Dean currently lives in Walnut Creek, California. Dean and his wife, and although Charlene is deceased, they have 2 adult children, Joel, 71, Gary, 67. He also has 2 grandchildren, Christian, 37, and Brianna, 31. So it's our privilege at this time, although no one's here to accept on his behalf, but to induct Dean Nicholson into the Puyallup High School Hall of Fame, class of 2022. I have the privilege and the honor to teach swimming with Jerry Harvey for many years, until one night the weather or something destroyed the Puyallup swimming pool and fell down. He went to Rogers. But while he was here, had a remarkable career. He attended Lincoln High School in Tacoma, where he played football, basketball, attended the won the Football Inspirational Award,
and Memorial Award and earned a scholarship to the University of Puget Sound for football. At UPS, he played football, basketball, was in the swimming program. He's also a member of the ROTC, Air Force ROTC program. While in college, he began his teaching and coaching career as swim coach at Lincoln High School in Tacoma for 2 years before he became a high school teacher, swim pool manager, and swimming and water polo coach at Puyallup High School. For 20 years, Jerry then became swimming and water polo coach at Rogers High School, following the demise of the pool. Water polo is a sport that he loved under Hartley's coaching career. Experienced great success. At Puyallup High School, the water polo team won 10 straight state championships, which is a remarkable record. In 1974 and 1983, and his team over 400 wins. At Rogers High School, his teams placed first, second, and third in the state water polo championships. In recognition of his coaching success, Hartley was inducted into the Tacoma-Pierce County Hall of Fame in 2010 for the sport of water polo. Outside of coaching, Jerry was a member of the Downtown Kiwanis Club and was a candidate for Pierce County Council. After retiring from teaching and coaching, he was a realtor in the area and a very successful realtor. Jerry and his wife Kay have 3 grown children, Kimberly, Kara, and Keith. They are proud grandparents to 10 grandchildren and 14 great-grandchildren. Hartley's currently reside in Surprise, Arizona, where in the summer of 2022, a number of former water polo athletes and wives visited with the Hartleys in Surprise. Jerry and Kay were unable to travel from Arizona to be here today because of health reasons. And former player Ryan Harris helped welcome Jerry as a member of the class of 2022. Thank you.
An experience that many here today appreciate as truly a memorable and lifelong sense of accomplishment and pride. I'm happy to report that Coach Hartley is doing fantastic, living the dream in Arizona with his lovely wife, Kay. He starts the day with a half-mile pool workout, followed by knocking out the daily Sudoku puzzle. He also enjoys on a very regular basis, chasing little white ball around golf courses with friends and fellow duffers. Coach Hartley, preferring water and water travel to air travel, has made the trip from Arizona to Puyallup difficult. As hard as I've tried, I can't find a cruise ship that'll make it from Arizona to Washington State. So unfortunately, you're stuck with me for the time being. For those of you that know him, know that he is a very humble and gracious man. And when he asked me to accept this award on his behalf, he wanted to make sure that I concentrated on Puyallup water polo and not him. I had to remind Coach that if not for him, Puyallup High School and Washington State water polo would never have evolved to its present status and esteem. I hope Coach Charlie will forgive me, but I must for the first time ever defy his wishes and make this about him. I recall a newspaper article from several years ago in which the reporter referred to Coach Hartley as the godfather of water polo. That sums it up to a T. He was the driving force, convincing others swimming programs to participate in this great sport of water polo. He also spent countless hours promoting and lobbying other schools, clubs, and interested parties, including the WIAA, about the tremendous positive virtues of this sport, which ultimately led to its acceptance among the ranks of one of today's very popular and accomplished high school sports. Its popularity has grown exponentially with not only high school teams, but premier traveling teams and Olympic development teams here locally and across the state. Washington State Water Polo has our own Coach Hartley to thank for that success. Coach Hartley was on a college scholarship, as Mr. Wilhelm indicated, basketball and football scholarship at the University of Puget Sound, and was rehabbing in the pool after the basketball season when he was noticed and approached by another legendary sports icon, Coach Dick Canula. Dick Canula suggested that Jerry try swimming collegiately. Coach Hartley took up the challenge and not only succeeded, but became the divisional champion in breaststroke and a 4-year letterman in swimming. Once he completed his college education and began teaching, he was eager to pursue his new love, and that being the love of the pool. Coach Hartley brought his knowledge and appreciation of basketball to the Puyallup High School pool in the form of water polo. Most schools were playing water polo to improve their swimmers. We swam to improve as water polo players. Most teams had much faster swimmers than us. But don't get me wrong, we had some really good swimmers, but not to the level of a lot of our opponents. Coach laughed as he recalled times when it looked like it was frogs swimming against fish. They say that there's no substitution for speed. Well, Coach Hartley shattered that myth. He proved that through preparation, perfection of ball handling skills coupled with strong, cohesive teamwork, you can overcome speed. And as his record indicates, he was correct. I can tell you no team was better prepared than we were. But even as prepared as we were, and with every team digging deep to dethrone the champs, we would find ourselves in close games. Coach Hartley's ability to process a game in real time and then to redirect the course of the game was a true gift. To this day, there's nothing that can compare to being in a very close game. Coach calling a timeout, the team gathering at the edge of the pool, the entire team with a singleness of focus hanging on every word. We knew from experience this play would be perfect, and we knew from countless hours of practice, we could and would execute. We always did. Another interesting and incredibly strategic bit of coaching genius deals with his recruiting practices. He's the first to acknowledge the brother's gift. And by this, I mean he had developed such a winning program, we were not only won a lot, but means we weren't recognized as a WIA-approved sport at that time. We were afforded the opportunity to travel, and travel we did. Hawaii, California, Oregon, Eastern Washington, to Washington State University, with a few players venturing to Idaho for untold reasons, and you know who you are. We also played many local campuses here, including the University of Washington, which we beat, by the way. The experience of winning and traveling led to many younger brothers of existing players eager to join. Some names I recall include, and I apologize if I've missed any, but there were so many: the Wallaces, the Brinsteads, the Mahafis, the Hudsons, the Brulettes, the Orbergs, the Groves, the Leardals, the Piots, and of course the BCs, which not only include brothers but cousins as well, all very good players. But the true genius part is with the best challenge that he could ever come up with, and it started for every player right out of the gate. That being every day, 5 a.m. practice. Needless to say, the 5 a.m. practice was a daunting thought for most high school-aged boys to comprehend, let alone pull off. It weeded out those not willing to show the dedication and commitment necessary to wake up really early, find a way to the pool, don that wet, cold swimsuit, and jump into the even colder water for daily practice. I can also recall many would ask him, how could they even get to the pool at that time in the morning? And his response would always be the same: you should go ask one of the 25 people on the team how they make it work. In retrospect, those 5 a.m. practices were brilliant. As many of you know, Coach Hartley not only loved to coach water polo, but he also had a deep and profound interest in each and every player. And one of the true testaments to his effect on players is how many have gone on to become coaches, referees, or somehow involved in water polo. This is the greatest compliment any coach can receive. His impact so profound that players want to share and continue his commitment and legacy of his coaching, and also his dream desire to promote and ensure personal development and life skills along the way. At this point, it should also be noted that Coach Hartley would like to recognize the tremendous support and encouragement of his family, his wife Kay, his daughters Kim, Kara, and Kelly. They were our true greatest cheerleaders and leaders and fans. They knew the game strategies and playbooks better than most of the coaches in the league. Kim and Kara even pioneered the girls' water polo program at Rogers High School, which is alive and well today thanks to their efforts. Another gift from the Hartley coaching family. In closing, I'd like to express it as my true honor and tremendous gift to be able to call Jerry Hartley my coach, my mentor, and my friend. And on behalf of Coach Hartley, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee, Mr. Meyerhoff, and the staff of Puyallup High School, and last, but certainly not least, the players, family, and friends of Puyallup Water Polo.
See, I was the smart one because I went after Mr. Harris, and now I don't have to say anything because he's there, took care of the team as well. Perfect. Great job with that. We do want to this time recognize the water polo team, and I'll tell you, it has been quite the experience to nail down exactly which teams, because the wall in the gym says one thing, the trophy said another, the yearbook says a third, and many of the people in this audience say a fourth. I think we've got it, but I'm sure we'll have to make some adjustments. So at this time, I want to read our quick bio, and then we're going to call up the members of the teams, because there's certificates, and then we'll get a picture, because we have a chance to get them all together again at some point. As the committee was considering, it's tough to read down here. You did a good job, George. As the committee was considering nominations for this class of inductees, the state championship water polo teams created a bit of a dilemma, as I mentioned. It'd be easy to recognize one team and work with that group. Working with 12 state championship teams was unique. The committee decided to honor all of the boys water polo state championship teams at the same time, as most players were involved in multiple years of those state championships. As you just heard, Coach Hartley built a dynasty at Puyallup High School, winning 10 straight state championships. Coaches Tim Vesey and Mark Thomas continued the winning tradition in the mid-80s. In 1983, the team placed second. Bummer. The year before they won their first state title, they also placed second, which means over 14 years, that team played in 14 state titles games and won 12 of them, and probably had a good chance at the other two. And sometimes you just don't win them. After Clare Representative Todd Fletcher gives a brief statement, we'll introduce the members of the teams that are present today and bring them to the front for their recognition. Mr. Fletcher.
I'm humbled and honored to be in front of you today. I was one of those that spent a great deal of time in the pool with Coach Hartley, and so many of you did the same thing, those 5 a.m. workouts after school. I think what stood out, one of the things stood out for me, I didn't get to go to Hawaii or California. I think those days might have been over us, I'm not sure. I did 4 hours in the pool and the water polo marathons and fundraiser. We played like the University of Washington, we played a men's team, we played each other, we probably played 5 or 6 games over a period of 24 hours. It's insane. But that's how Jerry Hartley worked, and that's what made it successful. And as Jim Meyerhoff said, Barbara for the class of '83, and it was think what stood out for us is we didn't want to be that team. We did not want to be that team that broke that string. And so, for me, I was on the tail end of that string, and we definitely look back at those earlier teams, and we definitely stood on your shoulders. You definitely went before us and laid the groundwork and did that hard work to get us prepared where we were in position to do well ourselves. So, those 10 teams, it's the UCLA and water polo in the state of Washington, if you will. And hats off to all of you that are here today, and congratulations for your induction into the Hall of Fame. I think it's overdue, and I think it's well deserved. And congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much.
I believe I checked in with everybody I can find downstairs, unless somebody got in a little bit later. We're going to do this by year, so if I skip over your year, make sure that you get up here and tell me I get it correct. We're going to go back to, we're going to do their graduation year, because some of them are involved in 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 4, depending on the year of graduation. Starting with the class of 1974, Jack Walsh. I heard there's a relation here. He graduated in 1976. Jim Walsh. 1975, Tom Kwan. We're just going to make a line right in the front, and we'll get a quick picture here. 1976, Tim Mahaffey. I saw Jeff earlier, so I'm not sure if he came back or not. 1977, Jeff Wanser.
Here's Jeff.
Jeff, come back. You can block me. 1978. Ryan Harris. Oh, I missed the 1975. 1975, accepting for his brother Dale, is Dean Grinstad. Back to 1978, Scott Orberg. So that's one I'm not sure I checked in with. 1978, Steve Piot. 1979, Doug Hurst. A couple of you can stay on this side for a few minutes. Also 1979, Alan Hudson. 1980, Todd Fletcher. 1983, Jay Sweet. 1983, Kevin King. 1983, Todd Casey. And I had him on the list, I'm not sure I saw him. Did Dennis show up? I haven't seen him. 1987, Dennis. Didn't miss anybody that's here today. Okay, well, I'm getting my camera. Oh, a big round of applause for these. Take a couple and give people a chance to smile. Get the pictures.
That was smart not to have to redo that. Get them all right there.
Woohoo! Go Pirates!
Now I know the answer. Somebody asked me, when did they leave?
Congratulations. Good afternoon. My name is Kelly Susie. I'm athletic director here at Puyallup High School. Jim Clifton was born in Puyallup and attended district schools, graduated Puyallup High School in 1960. At PHS, he played quarterback in football, was a star in basketball, and was a pitcher on the baseball team. Clifton was a 2-year starter in basketball, missing his senior year due to a football injury. His junior year in basketball, he was the leading scorer with 15 points per game, and was selected first team All-State and earned All-American honors as well. His high school basketball coach was PHS Hall of Fame Dean Nicholson, who you heard about today. Clifton attended college at Central Washington University, where he earned 4 letters in basketball and baseball, starting all 4 years in basketball, scoring 1,160 points, averaging 12.3 points per game. Jim received the Inspirational Award and was team captain in basketball, as well as honorable mention All-American honors. In baseball, he had a 1.88 ERA, pitched 16 complete games in 22 starts, and set the school record by pitching all 15 innings in a game against Western Washington University. After 2 years of teaching and coaching at Silver High School, Clifton returned to his alma mater, where he taught physical education and became the head basketball coach in 1978. Over his 19 years as a PHS high school basketball coach, he garnered a record of 271 wins, 185 losses, the most wins in school history. His teams advanced to the state tournament 8 times, and 11 of his players went on to play college basketball. Jim was part of 32 PHS basketball seasons as a player, head coach, and assistant coach. Retired from basketball in 1997. At PHS, he also coached football, tennis, and served as a high school athletic director. After college, Clifton made it to the final cuts of the Seattle Supersonics during their first year in Seattle. In recognition of his commitment to the sport of basketball, Clifton was inducted into the Central Washington University Hall of Fame in 1993. He was inducted into the Pierce County Hall of Fame and the Washington State Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame in 2008. In retirement, Clifton loved to go on family vacations with his grandchildren and play golf with his wife, his son, and friends at Lakewood Village. Jim passed in April and is survived by his wife of 25 years, Beverly Clifton, and his 4 children, Kim, Jim, Jason, and Chad. He is also survived by 12 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. Jim was honored by the Athletic Hall of Fame in the inaugural class in 2019, which has been a few years, but that initial inauguration class for our Hall of Fame, as part of the 1971 Boys Basketball State Championship team. Today, he's being honored both as an athlete and his coaching success at Puyallup High School. Speaking on behalf of Jim Clifton's senior today will be a former player for this Brandon Bond, and he will also be inducted and be given his plaque to his son, Jim Clifton Jr. So I'd like to call Brandon Baki and Jim Clifton, class of 2022.
Thank you. My name is Brandon Baki, and I represent one of the 350 Puyallup basketball players who played for Coach Clifton. I represent one of the 13 college basketball players that he helped produce. I represent one of the many coaches that got to sit on the sideline with him. We were assistant coaches at the University of Puget Sound together. And I represent the Clifton family tonight. I just want to say thanks to his wife, Beth, and to son, Jim, for giving me this honor. It really is an honor, because tonight I represent Coach Clifton as well, who, as you just heard, went home to be with the Lord here a few weeks ago. I also represent, by the way,
one of 1,000 students who had Coach Wilfong's advanced weights and conditioning class, who we suffered and tortured through all those many mornings. Good to see you, Coach. I played for Coach Clifton 1 year in 1991. I moved from Colorado to Puyallup, and we had a really good team. In fact, we were on the verge of winning the SPSL championship. In a game at the end of the season, we were up by 2 with 30 seconds to go, and I got the ball, and I took a three-pointer to ice the game, and I missed the shot. And Kent Ridge responded and hit a three-pointer at the buzzer, costing us the game and the league championship. So in the locker room after the game, Coach Clifton was furious. He yelled at me. In fact, he said, "Brandon, that was the worst shot in the history of Puyallup basketball." Ouch. You know, I started to think about that a little bit. When those words started to sink in, it kind of hit home a little bit. I mean, think about that. He was a basketball player at Puyallup from 1956 to 1959. He was an assistant coach for 8 years, including on that 1971 state championship team. He coached for 19 seasons. Coach Clifton has been a part of more Puyallup High basketball games than any other human alive, and it's not even close. So think about how that makes me feel when he says that I took the worst shot. He's right. I probably did take the worst shot in the history of Puyallup basketball. Coach is being inducted tonight as a player and as a coach. He meant a lot to this community. In 1958, he was set the school record at the time for the most points in the season on the way to being all-league and first-team all-state. Only one of 3 guys who's ever done that. Buster Roulette, who's being honored later tonight, and future Hall of Famer David Hewitt, my teammate, in 1991. Coach was headed into his senior year on the verge of major college scholarships when he hurt his leg during a fall football game. Cost him his entire senior year of athletics. But his injury got more and more severe as the year went on, and infection set in. And he actually was on the verge of losing his leg. And the town of Puyallup, knowing that the Clifton family couldn't afford surgery, literally passed hats, went door to door to raise money to save Coach Clifton's leg. And he ended up having the surgery. Thankfully, it worked. His leg was saved and his career was saved, where he went on to star at Central Washington University, as you just heard. Coach's been named an All-American at Central. He was inducted into Central's Hall of Fame. He's been inducted into the Tacoma Athletic Commission's Hall of Fame, the State of Washington Coaches Association's Hall of Fame. But Coach always felt indebted to the people of Puyallup for what they did for him all those years ago, making that success possible. Back in 1991, the day after that heartbreaking loss of ours to Kent Ridge, after my apparently historically bad shot, Coach found me in the locker room again, this time with tears in his eyes. He gave me a much-needed hug. He actually apologized for making the comment. Told me he cared about me, told me he believed in me. He told me you're destined for good things, and our team is going to do something great. And sure enough, a little over a month later, we won the West Central District Championship, one of 2 teams in the history of our school to do that. His success and records, no doubt, have brought him into now his 4th Hall of Fame. But that's not why Coach Clifton's a Hall of Famer. Coach Clifton believed in us as players, as people, cared about us. He wanted the best for us. And he gave 3 decades of his life for the sole purpose of helping young boys become young men. That is why he's a Hall of Famer. Thank you for this great honor tonight. Please welcome to the stage, accepting this honor, Jim Clifton.
I have the honor of recognizing our next recipient, Dick Berg. I'll tell you a little bit about him. Dick Berg graduated from golf in 1961. He played football, basketball, ran track, and played summer league baseball. He was ASB president and class valedictorian. Dick went on to attend Stanford University on a football scholarship, where he played quarterback and majored in political science. In 1963, he led Stanford to its first ever win over Notre Dame. Following Stanford, he attended law school at the University of Washington. It was there that he realized he was more interested in promoting sports than practicing law. While still a law student, he played quarterback and served as the general manager of the Seattle Rangers, a semi-professional football team that preceded the Seattle Seahawks. During this time, he also worked for the Seattle Chamber of Commerce, where he helped Seattle land its first major professional sports franchise, the Seattle Supersonics. Dick ultimately quit law school to become the Sonics' first director of marketing. Dick continued to work with the Seattle Chamber of Commerce to help secure funding to build the Seattle Kingdom Stadium and ultimately land professional football and baseball teams. In 1969, he coordinated a nationally televised exhibition game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Cleveland Browns at Husky Stadium to help demonstrate the market for professional football in Seattle. The event was such a success that the 49ers offered him a job as their director of marketing. Sports Illustrated later called Dick the boy wonder of the 49ers, where he coined the term 49er faithful, a term still used today, and where he became known for producing extravagant, star-studded halftime shows. Dick later took on the challenge of bringing professional soccer to America. In 1974, he helped start the San Jose Earthquakes of the North American Soccer League, that city's first professional sports franchise. Dick was the club's first general manager and created a marketing campaign that helped the team lead the league in attendance in his first year, averaging more fans than the San Francisco Giants and 49ers at the time. He quickly developed a reputation for boosting attendance wherever he worked. He was hired away from San Jose to become general manager of the Dallas Tornado soccer team, where he helped the team triple its attendance during his tenure. Dick also worked as a consultant for the Los Angeles Express of the United States Football League and was one of the core group of executives with the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics Organizing Committee, who hosted the first ever profitable Olympic Games. Dick passed away March 2nd, 2018 at the age of 74. Accepting the award on behalf of Dick Berg is his son Brady. In the category of athlete, please welcome Dick Berg in the PHS Hall of Fame class of 2022.
So I'm Brady Berg, Dick Berg's son. My sons, Zach and Nate, are here in the audience, as well as my uncle Russ, his brother Carol, and extended family. So wanted to thank, first off, Jim Meyerhoff, Puyallup High School, and the Athletic Hall of Fame committee for making this possible and for recognizing my dad. And wanted to thank, in particular, my uncle Russ and Carol for all the hard work they did in helping pull this together. So I'm here to say a few words about my dad. You heard packed a lot into his career. I think it's also almost ironic that I'm following Jim Clifton's award, because my dad, when he became the senior, the varsity quarterback after Jim Clifton was hurt. So he was one door closes and another open. But he was, I think, first and foremost recognized for his accomplishments as a quarterback, not only here but later at Stanford. And I know he looked up to Jim Jim, so it's really great that we're here at the same time. So I'm here to say a few words about my dad who passed away about 4.5 years ago. I've often said that he accomplished more in his 74 years than most hope to accomplish in 150. And that list of things that he just listed off here, I think it's just sort of the tip of the iceberg. He was really a remarkable person. He was called a lot of things, some affectionate and some less so. He was called the P.T. Barnum of sports. He was called the wild man. He was called, as you heard. I think today he would probably be known as kind of a cross between Ted Lasso and Jackie Moon, if you guys know those references. But more than anything, he was a hustler. And what I mean by that is that he could make things happen. And I just want to list a few of the things that I learned from him as either him lecturing me over the years or just observing. And a lot of those things are things I think he learned here as well, or instilled in him. One was work hard. He was a really hard worker. He would often tell me about how he would pick berries here in Washington. It sounded like that was always walking uphill both ways in the snow, if I believe him right. And he would, he could sell anything. He learned to be a salesman here in Puyallup. He thought of himself, he would always talk about the fact that he was this punchy kid with Coke bottle glasses and all this. But he overcame it just through hard work. He would shoot free throws endlessly, and I'll get back to that one in a minute. But he became a star basketball player at Harvard because of his shooting ability and his free throw ability. But all of that from hard work. Have a goal. If he set his mind on something, he would accomplish it. Whether it was selling out a stadium, I can tell you back to the free throw shooting when he was on his 40th birthday, he had this mission. He used to have this free throw shooting contest in the backyard. And he was going to make 40 free throws in a row on his 40th birthday. And sure enough, on the day of his 40th birthday, he made 40 in a row. 40 free throws. He would work tirelessly to make that goal happen. And I think that the exhibition game here in Seattle that I think led to the Seahawks coming here and getting his job with the 49ers was part of that. I think, if I understand correctly, the Chamber of Commerce had put down a sum of money to front this stadium and make sure that the exhibition game was here. But they had to sell seats to make it a success and to recover the money and make sure that the teams got paid. And he made sure that happened. And that's what led to him getting the job with the 49ers. Be a doer and make your own luck. Those were, I was listening to a speech the other day, a talk that Steve Jobs gave. I'm comparing my dad to Steve Jobs, but Steve Jobs was saying that part of what made him a doer is that he would pick up the phone. He was telling the story about as a 12-year-old kid in Silicon Valley. He called Bill Hewlett, from Hewlett Packard, to get some chips for a computer that he was building, and just because he thought, why not? I'll just pick up the phone and do that. That was my dad. He would say, if I have an idea, I don't care who it is, I'm just going to pick up the phone and go make it happen. Believe in yourself, and that was part of the other side of that coin. He believed that he could do anything. He was, happy to be in the company of Lamar Hunt, the time one of the brothers of the richest family in the world, or entertainers or anybody else. But he had supreme confidence in himself. Take risks. He used to always tell me as a kid that you can't make a mistake before you're 40. And I think what he was telling me was that take risks, don't be afraid. Now that I'm 52, I don't know what to do, but before 40, it's, you could do no wrong. And last but not least, smile and wave. He had a great smile, infectious energy.
he could, he could get through any security gate, didn't matter what it was, by just waving and smiling and pretending like he belonged there, and it was, magic just happened. So, anyway, that was my dad. Thank you for recognizing him. Cheers.
Our next inductee is Frank Buster Burlett. He was a Puyallup High School student, 1943 to 1946. Buster Burlett passed away January 20th, 2001. If there ever was an example of an all-American boy, Frank Buster Burlett was about as close to one as anybody gets. His excellence in school and sports. He was among the first generation of his family to go to college and eventually earned a doctorate degree. He was civic-minded, caring greatly for his community, and even with all of his successes and accomplishments, he has remained the same Buster to all who know him, an individual of strong character and integrity. Burlett was born in 1928 in Puyallup and attended grade school in Puyallup and Sumner. I'm not sure how that happened. He received his nickname Buster early in life, as there were a significant number of Franks in the Burlett family. At Puyallup High School, Buster participated in football, basketball, and track, and was the first PHS athlete to rush for 1,000 yards in a season on the field. He was an all-state first-team basketball player and captain of the football, basketball, and track teams, earning all-conference honors in all three sports. He was junior class president and graduated 10th in his class in 1946. After declining appointments to the U.S. Naval Academy and to the U.S. Marine Academy, Military Academy, Burlett attended college at Washington State University, University of Puget Sound, and then the University of Montana, earning his BA, his Bachelor's in Education, and his Master's degrees. He lettered in football and basketball at UPS, and in 1953 he entered the U.S. Army as a special agent in the counterintelligence corps and served overseas. In 1955, Burlett was employed as a secondary teacher by the Puyallup School District. In addition to teaching social studies, math, and English, he coached football, basketball, and track. In 1956, Buster married Marge Ellen Sarston. In 1956 also, he was elected to the Washington State House of Representatives for the 25th District. He served in that capacity for 16 years, during which he chaired the House Education Committee, and in 1973, Burlett was elected the 12th Washington State Superintendent of Public Instruction. He was re-elected to that position 3 more times and served until 1989. During his 16 years in office, many advances were made in public education. He was the most influential educator in Washington State during the last half of the 20th century. Frank also served as president of Pierce College, director of the Pacific Rim Center, and the education program at the University of Washington. Burlett was inducted into the Tacoma-Pierce County Sports Hall of Fame in 2005. Burlett Elementary School in the Puyallup School District is named in his honor. Buster and his wife Marge have 2 adult children, Mark and Blair. They also have 4 grandchildren, Jordan, Brooke, Gemma, and Nora. Accepting today on behalf of the Burlett family are 2 of Buster's grandchildren, Jordan Burlett and Brooke Gregory. We welcome Frank Buster Burlett to the Puyallup High School Athletic Hall of Fame as a member of the class of 2022.
on behalf of the Puyallup, I want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for inducting Rick Buster into the Hall of Fame this year, and we appreciate the honor.
You would have been very honored if he was here today. He loved Puyallup. He taught us everything. Thank you.
Good news is Mariners have 5, bad news is the other team has 8. So, a couple of ratings, we'll see. I'll be out here watching the end of it. Kate Compliment is a talented multi-sport student athlete for the Vikings, graduating as part of the outstanding class of 1987, right? Nice job, yes. We can go to our chair for you downstairs if you really want. There's a little flag here. As a student, Kate was a member of the Honor Society, graduated with a GPA of 3.94. She was a member of the Big Sisters program, was involved in student government, and was a daffodil princess candidate. In volleyball, Kay was a team captain and was the SPSL MVP, selected as all-area first team as well. In track, she placed 9th in the state in high jump. As a basketball player, Kay was twice selected to the all-area team and received honorable mention All-American honors for senior year. Her teams won 3 SPSL championships, placing 4th and 5th in state. Kay attended Gonzaga University and played basketball, where she was named Co-Freshman of the Year for the West Coast Conference, not the West Coast, like it says in the program. I apologize for typing that incorrectly. During her career at Gonzaga, she earned West Coast Conference All-American First Team and Honorable Mention honors. Her career rebound record still stands at Gonzaga, 93, I think, right? Something like that. That's a lot of goals. Recently, she has helped coach Elm Ridge, Rampart Powellson High Schools. In 2010, Kay was inducted into the Tacoma Pierce County Sports Hall of Fame. Please welcome Kay Peterson as a member of the class of 2022.
Again, thank you to the committee for this. It's very humble, and I appreciate this award. I always said from the get-go, basketball was my first love. When I was younger, I remember out playing in my driveway course around the world with my dad, and from there it just kind of progressed. High school, I had a coach that would push me. If he wasn't red in the face and yelling and screaming at us as a team all the time, there was something wrong. If he was quiet, it was like, okay, what's going on? So my coach Dilo, appreciate you being here, and I have 3 of my other teammates that I've remained close friends with and stuff from high school as well that I greatly appreciate. Christy, Tammy, and Diana for being here as well. I've always had people kind of pushing me. I knew I had talent and everything, but if it wasn't for having others kind of push me along, my success at Gonzaga was because of the coach. Came in my junior year and she was like, "You're pretty good at rebounding. You've done pretty well. There's a record there, and why don't we go for that?" And I was like, "Okay, sounds good." I was actually able to get the rebounding record my junior year. So she was like, "Okay, you reached that goal. What's your next goal?" I don't know. How does 1,000 rebounds for my career sound? Okay, that sounds pretty good. Unfortunately, I was just shy. I accumulated that to a couple of ankle injuries where I sat out, but I, like I said, had that coach and stuff that would really kind of push me along. And if it wasn't, again, for everyone that is sitting in the row there with me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So thank you all. Thanks.
final inductee for the class of 2022 is Catherine Williams Garrett. She attended Puyallup High School in 1989 through 1992. She was born in Tacoma, Washington, and competed for Puget Sound School of Gymnastics, where she was a very successful youth gymnast. She attended 2 national team training camps in Washington, D.C., and in Colorado Springs at the U.S. Training Center. In 1987, unfortunately, she suffered a fractured femur and did not compete as an elite gymnast after that injury. As a gymnast, though, here at Puyallup High School, she won the AA Washington State High School Gymnastics all-around titles in 1990, 1991, and again in 1992, becoming the first 3-time champion in state history. Catherine was also the 1991 state champion on the balance beam. After high school, Williams attended the University of Washington, where she competed in gymnastics in 92 through 94, and then also with the cheerleading squad from 1995 to 1997. After graduation from the University of Washington, Williams attended Seattle U, where for 2 years, and there she graduated magna cum laude with a BSN in nursing in 2003. She has been an RN for nearly 20 years, and prior to that was an EMT for several years. In recognition for her gymnastic accomplishments, Catherine was inducted in the Tacoma-Pierce County Sports Hall of Fame in 2008 and into the United States Gymnastics Washington State Hall of Fame in 2014. Catherine lives in Sammamish, Washington with her husband Rick, and they have 2 children, Soren and Kaylin. She is not here today, but accepting the award on behalf of Catherine is her former high school coach and a current PHS staff member, Peggy Haskey. Congratulations to Catherine, a member of the class of 2022.
With that picture evaluation.
Yeah. Need some standard. Well, I'm very honored to be here on behalf of Catherine. Catherine was getting into gymnastics because Coach, me, didn't really know a whole lot about gymnastics, but Catherine came in and, oh my goodness, she was so talented and so strong, and she really lifted the team up a lot. And Catherine had done club gymnastics all her life prior to coming to the high school and doing gymnastics here. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with club sports. They're pretty high pressure and very, very serious. And so she came to the high school, and I think she would definitely want to train her teammates because high school gymnastics, especially at that time, was a lot different than club, and I think it was the first chance that Catherine got to kind of just have fun and not be super serious with gymnastics, and I remember that team definitely had a lot of fun. There was a lot of laughter going on all the time, but I tell you what, when it was time to compete, that girl would go out there and nail her routine. She was something to watch. And a lot of that was also due to her mom and her grandma, who I'm sure she would want to thank them. They were everything. And everything while she was here at Puyallup High School, and I'm pretty sure they were at everything before and after. So I was just lucky to be along for the ride when Catherine was here. She was quite a talented athlete, and I'm sure she would want to thank all of you, especially the committee, and the people who put the Hall of Fame together here at Puyallup High School. And personally, I'd like to thank the committee because I think this is a long overdue thing. There have been so many amazing athletes and just people that came through Puyallup High School, and I think it's great that you're recognizing them, and I appreciate everything that you guys have done. So thank you.
Hall of Fame. And their families, thank you for being here today. We hope to see you next year in what, October? Something like that. Maybe 2 October, maybe 2 years, maybe every 2 years. Anyway, thanks again for coming today, and again, congratulations, drive safely. Thank you.